Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Anime Sundays, the show where we talk about anime on Sundays. And of course, you see here we have Showing a Showdown. And
thanks for having me.
You know the Gear 5 hype is through the roof. They're playing out these episodes beautifully. So, of course, you know, today we have to do a Gear 5 Gauntlet. Now, this Gear 5 Gauntlet is by Soma Sauce and Bizarre Battles. Great versus pages. Check them out. They had some conditions for the Gear 5 Gauntlet. They had recovers after every round, and then they had morals off. But I'm also going to remove the morals off condition because I just feel like usually when debate people talk about morals off, it just switches up the whole dynamic. Like it switches up the whole psychiatric kind of element to the fight. So we're going to take morals off. All right, so getting right into it. First up, we have Akaza. Now, I mean, I honestly don't even think like Gear 4 Luffy will really have no trouble. The Demon Slayer verse really isn't that hard. I mean, yes, Akaza is pretty fast. His durability's out the roof. But if all Luffy has to do is box bro till the sun comes up, or just, you know,
exactly,
knock bro into the ocean or something, you know, depending on where they are, he's going to have no problem with that.
Yeah, pack him up.
Any thoughts on that, Rob?
Pack him up, man.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah. You got Gear 5 Luffy again. That's not even... We're starting out with Gear 5 Luffy.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I really need to see.
So next up we have Shigaraki. Now, this isn't all-for-one Shigaraki. He does still have his decay ability. But, you know, I feel like with this instance, of course, you may say, well, yeah, if he gets touched, it can be very problematic. But I think in this kind of situation, we have to kind of really break down the observation hockey in a sense. And we kind of have to break down what might happen with Gear 5. Now, from what we've seen, the damage Luffy's been able to take is pretty unparalleled. Now, do we know if he could just take full-on decay? Maybe not. But since it is recover after every round, I feel like even if Shigaraki was able to decay an arm or a leg or something, that's more than enough for Luffy to be like, okay, don't touch this guy. And now everything else is in play.
I mean, me thinking about Shigaraki, the first thing I'm thinking about is obviously him having access to all of these, you know, quirk abilities. But that does not factor in what Gear 5 Luffy will have access to. I mean, Gear 5 Luffy can not only change his body, but he can change the surrounding environment as well as output insane amounts of haki. And he can also see into the future slightly with observation haki, future sight. When you're looking at Shigaraki, how is he going to be able to react to what Gear 5 Luffy is going to be throwing at him? Because we're even seeing Kaido having a tough time with his future sight, trying to predict and react to what Gear 5 Luffy is throwing at him. I don't think Shigaraki has the answer in his arsenal to deal with what Gear 5 Luffy does.
And then he's not even all for one in this version. So this is like pre-formed all for one, so it's already kind of looking bad. Alright, round 3, we have Meruem. This is post-Rose Bomb Meruem, so this is supposed to be Meruem with a little bit more sauce. Meruem wasn't really that much like of a threat to what would be to Luffy in before post-Rose. So even with wings or maybe a little extra strength, and I still think Gear 5 is way more than enough to handle Meruem. He doesn't have any crazy tricks up his sleeve. He's really just kind of a full-blown power kind of guy, and we know that unless you're Kaidoing up, like your power level, just raw strength is not really going to do nothing to Gear 5, changing everything around him.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, he's
that's what I would say. Yeah. Get him out of here. No net abilities that he has in the arsenal is keeping up with Gear 5 Luffy. Again, even if he is able to land an attack on Gear 5 Luffy, he's going to be getting his body changed, as well as Luffy's going to be reshaping and reforming his body to significantly reduce the damage that he's going to be taking.
Now, I think it does get tricky on this round 4 here. We do have Estarossa.
Yes.
We know that, you know, Estarossa, you really pretty much can't kill Estarossa unless you stab all of his hearts because he is a demon. But, you know, we seen what Escanor did to Estarossa. Even though he didn't kill him, enough pushback and he was out of there. He was taken care of. I think his biggest hurdle here will be his commandment. And that's why I kind of took morals off, because I feel like this plays an important part. You know that Estarossa has a commandment of benevolence. And so, pretty much, if you have hate or anger towards him, you can't fight back. And I feel like in this unique case, Luffy really wouldn't have any anger towards him, because even now that he's fighting Kaido, it's kind of like all that anger before that he had, it's kind of out the window. Now he's really just having a great time. He's laughing. He's like, Kaido, let's do this. This is fun. I'm having a blast. So if Estarossa can get through it just for being, prideful as heck and just like, I don't even care about this guy, I'm sure it wouldn't really affect Luffy in that case.
Yeah, right. So if Miles off the table, then yes, I can see Luffy winning this. It would be very tough.
Yeah, it would be tough.
Obviously, with the techniques, but because this is base Estarossa, I can definitely see him winning. Gear 5 Luffy is tough to react to. Luffy can run on air. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can really change the ground. His speed is... Gear 5 Luffy's speed is already probably one of the most slept on parts of Gear 5 Luffy.
Absolutely.
His speed is ridiculous. He runs like Sonic. So when you're talking about, the power of chaos and 7 deadly sins, that type of ability where it's warping reality and stuff, Luffy would be kind of like a being of chaos in 7 deadly sins, where he's just warping reality. He's just doing things that don't make sense. Mael would have answers, I feel like, because he's so overly powered. But Estarossa on base, I don't think so.
All right, round 5, we got Zenon. Again, I don't read the manga. I mean, sure, he soloed the Golden Dawns.
Which is tough.
Yeah. Congratulations. But, I mean, I would assume he's weaker than Dante. His magic is bone magic. I don't see Luffy having too much...
Hold on, Jared. You said Zenon versus Dante. You have who?
Well, I mean, would you not have Dante? Isn't he supposed to be the leader of their little trio?
Zenon packed up the Golden Dawn.
Okay, I feel you. But I mean, he didn't have to deal with
the Golden Dawn. To me,
that's more impressive than what we seen Yami and Asta doing. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. I think that Yami and Asta are probably, I would say, they're better suited against against the Dark Triad in general, because they're arcane magic users. But that does not mean that the Golden Dawn aren't nice.
I agree with you, but I'm also on the case of that the Black Bulls also just move differently. So, like, they seen what was going on. Dante was obviously about to pack them up, but they seen, like, okay, this is more of a, we need to be supportive, counter and run, leave this to Yami and Asta. Regardless, his magic isn't, unless he has that healing ability as well, his magic isn't that crazy that I feel like Luffy shouldn't be having so much trouble, because it really is still just essentially bone magic. And we know when Luffy gets a hold of anything, those bones are now rubber balloons, you know what I mean? And he's tying balloon animals out of them. And you know what I'm saying? So I think Gear 5 Luffy would take it. I guess if we're talking about that, and then we just tie into anime, I think Gear 5 Luffy takes it for sure. Because I feel like it's definitely a closer match with Asta. And then already then it's kind of like, now that he has Gear 5, sure he's got his demon mode, but we know that's also a stamina thing too. So I would definitely put Luffy. If I put Luffy over Zenon, I'm going to put Luffy over Yuno. Round 7, Hashirama. Looks like a live Sage mode.
Here we go. Here we go.
Well, here's the thing. I've always been like an advocate of Whitebeard over Hashirama. So if you kind of...
Old Beard or Prime?
Well, I think Prime Beard for sure, and I think Old Beard is like almost neck and neck. And like, I feel like I can give it to Hashirama a little bit over Old Beard, because Old Beard's still a little sick, Hashirama can heal. But Hashirama, like Naruto, is really a power type character. But stamina wise, Old Beard's still there. Now, the thing about Hashirama is, and this is always what I've been saying about Naruto, when you have like the counterpart to the Uchiha advocate, the Uchiha really is the one, and we'll get to the next round after that, who you really have to be careful of because of the tricks and, hacks in their arsenal. So the wood style jutsu is really just kind of raw strength. Now, of course, it's suppressing the Nine Tails. He's got the Golem. But Luffy can be a giant if he wants to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He could, who knows? May hop on the Golem and turn him into a horsey. We really I'm just kind of like, when it comes to raw power, that's where I'm more like, you might have messed up. Because now you don't have enough hacks in your arsenal besides healing. Do I think a Bajrang gun might put, bro? We know Naruto characters really aren't as durable as One Piece characters. Yes, I said it.
I'm definitely there with the durability and everything. Hashirama versus Whitebeard, I also do agree with what you had to say there. Here's the thing though with Hashirama, which we have to remember. Hashirama's regenerative capabilities, right? Hashirama cells. That was the main thing in Naruto that people were trying to get their hands on because they know it heals.
Right.
That would be something Luffy would have to look out for from a stamina perspective.
Yeah.
And this is the only reason why I think you can, if you're a Naruto fan out there, you can make a great case for Hashirama, is the fact that if Hashirama is able to heal himself as a battle is going on, and Luffy runs out of stamina, it's game over. Now, will Hashirama be able to react to Luffy's future sight? Will he be able to react to the amounts of crazy conquerors that he's outputting and also predict his movements? Because, again, to me, Gear 5 Luffy is probably one of the most unpredictable characters in One Piece. I think this is more of a battle of attrition. And I think if we're talking about a battle of attrition currently, I think we have to give it to Hashirama.
Like if they both start out in this form right here.
Yeah.
You know, in certain instances, say if we do give him the benefit of being in base, because sometimes the base does help. I do see Gear 4 also being a problem for Hashirama.
Hashirama is a master of Senjutsu. Like, he's really good with Senjutsu, so I think that's something where even if his natural chakra reserves are getting a little bit iffy, Senjutsu, you tap in, now you're gaining chakra from the environment itself.
Yeah. I just think that Hashirama, you know, even with healing, what are we really saying when it comes to like Rio? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know the internal organs. Like, I feel like Madara hasn't really put him through that much. Like, Madara's main thing was, okay, I have the Genjutsu and I have the Nine Tails. Right. And his main response was, well, I have Sage Mode, so Genjutsu doesn't work. And then I have Wood Golems that can hang with the Nine Tails. Right. But it's kind of like, have you dealt with Rio before? Have you dealt with, like, Conqueror's hits with Future Sight coming at you? Honestly, bro, I do think Gear 5 would still take it. Maybe if he's like starts out of base, I think Gear 5 would.
That's and see, with you saying that, I could see that more, right? If he starts out in base or Gear 4 and then works his way up to Gear 5, you know what I'm saying? I could see that. The thing with starting out in Gear 5 is he only has a few minutes. We're basically saying like you have 5 to 10 minutes to kill Hashirama or you lose. Yeah.
We got, last but not least, now this is Edo Madara. With Rinsei, with the Rinnegan and all that. Now it's not Judora or anything. This is just Edo Madara brought back to life. Now here, I think this is where Luffy may have to bow down here, because the real problem is the man just unlimited chakra. You know what I mean? Like, unlimited chakra has to be sealed. Edo Madara is probably one of the most unfair things in the show. It's definitely a stamina battle here. And I think this is where it ends for sure. Like 100% Edo Madara, really any Edo character makes it really tough when you're like immortal, you know what I'm saying? Soloing the 5 Kage, unlimited clones, unlimited Susanos. It's like, Luffy may be able to,
and
really
he has
some work.
Hashirama cells on top of that, as you can see in the picture. Complete agreement. Complete agreement. No qualms. Yeah.
All right, y'all. So that is our Gear 5. Luffy runs the Gauntlet. If you guys got any discrepancies, the Naruto fans, y'all are on the way. It's all good. Please leave a comment. Definitely love to talk about it, debate about it. And with that, we'll see y'all next Sunday.